global, goal to be great. R's for the robot that we regulate. E's for the engineering that evaluates. A's for autonomy that we automate. G's for the tech that connects teammates. That got the intellect to fix what you break. We all come together making great things great. We all come together making great things great. And this is the greatest. This is the greatest. Isn't this the greatest? You're looking at the greatest of all time. Even though they told us we was crazy, said we would fail, now we trailblazers. Made it out the maze, now they calling us amazing. You're looking at the greatest of all time. This is the greatest. This is the greatest. This is the greatest. Isn't this the greatest? Even though they told us we was crazy, saying we would fail, now we trailblazers. Made it out the maze, now they calling us amazing. We the greatest of all time. The greatest. What a time to be a student. What a time to be creative. What a time that we live in right now. And if you think about today versus any time in history, the access to knowledge is a differentiator. At some point in time, it was like illegal for some people to read and write. Not everybody can read and write. The folks that were able to read and write before the 1400s were monks, clergy, lords, kings, the highest of the highs. Villagers didn't do that. Citizens didn't do the basic things that we take for granted today. Not everybody in the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, my ancestors didn't have the ability to put their mind to solve their problems. They were swimming in problems. Think about how lucky we are today with the abundance of knowledge. It is pretty spectacular if you think of it. Just 20 years ago, to create apps to solve the world's problems, you had to code. And it's an amazing talent, the developers in the world. But if you're from communities like mine and they didn't teach computer science mandatory in our schools, what got you to that? So think about just how awesome of a time we live in today where you could take an idea, interface with some type of coding agent, and materialize it. Just think about the power that is, the power that it unleashes. And yes, it's daunting. It's daunting, like, oh my gosh, the world's changing. Oh my gosh, so many jobs are going to be rendered obsolete. Oh my gosh. Is it the tech that we're worried about? Or is it the lack of regulations that we're worried about? Is it the lack of governance? Is it the business models that have always undermined people? I think it's that more so than it is the tech. And as a musician, I'm like, wow, this tech can make music? Am I afraid that tech makes music at an abundance? Prince and Michael Jackson were the highest of all highs. Was Prince's awesomeness so intimidating that it kept me from making music? No, I was inspired by Prince. So when AI makes music, I'm inspired by AI. I don't care how awesome AI is able to stretch. I still need a stretch for myself. And so do you. I think this age that we're in right now is going to bring about the human era. Just like the planet creates, nature creates. But has that stopped human beings from creating by being curious and looking at a dragonfly and making helicopters? Human beings at the core, at this very fundamental, are the most amazing things in the universe. And so for something that we created to be daunted by it. It's our creation. It's our discovery, some might say. We are living in an amazing time. This is the greatest of all times to be alive and creative and a student today. And I say that because there is this entity, this organization that I sit on the board of called First Global. First Global is about unleashing that power, giving every single student in the global south and around the world science, technology, engineering, and mathematics skill sets. It's a transformational organization where kids compete and this thing that we called co-opetition. They collaborate and cooperate with the mindset that they want to get their robot to solve problems. They want to get their robot to do tasks. And this type of collaboration is in over 190 countries. 190 countries. One year, we had Israel competing against Palestine. Seeing the youth not entangled with politics, their mind trying to get their robot to do the task that the course has them doing. And it's inevitable. Eventually, a robot will glitch. A robot will break. And under this umbrella of co-opetition, how a team gets points, the team that has the robot that's broken, the other team helps them. And that's how you win the game, is by helping. Now imagine if every corporation, if every company and government operated in that way. Imagine what the world would be like under this co-opetition mindset. And that's what we foster at First Global. First Global is not about building robots. It's about teamwork. It's the human at the core, willing and configuring the robot to do awesome maneuvers, awesome tasks. And I know this firsthand because you guys know me as a musician. Some of you don't. Maybe you do. Started a group in 1995 called the Black Eyed Peas. And usually I'm supposed to start singing when I hear beats. I was like, is that cue to dance? Anyhow, so I started the group in 1995, and with success, we started, I went back to my neighborhood to create the I Am Angel Foundation. And I wanted kids to go to college, not to go to college with debt, to go to college and graduate with the ability to fill jobs that are AI-proof. And a job that's AI-proof is mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. We know the skills firsthand from seeing, as technology is exploding, what the human is going to do when machines are everywhere. It's a human right to have the knowledge of how the system works, to have the knowledge and understand to where you're not governed by the tech, you're able to build and correct the tech. That is a human right. And my biggest worry is that the global south and the disenfranchised communities will be in and around this technology and see it as a superior. Instead of like, no, I am your superior. I have the knowledge to fix you. I understand what makes you. As a matter of fact, I made you. Or else we're going to repeat it with the inhumane practices that we've seen with just Business 101. AI is not responsible for the Congo. It's not responsible for the global south. It's not responsible for the slums in Brazil. AI and robotics is not responsible for folks that are living in those conditions. That's human greed. That's human error. And so I've seen, starting with 65 students in 2008, growing now, just in LA alone, our foundation serves 15,000 students in LA. We've sent thousands of kids to Stanford, to Dartmouth, to Brown, to Carnegie Mellon, to USC, UCLA, Cal Arts, UC Santa Barbara, all across America, Georgetown, our students that come from the inner city, go to school, graduate 70% with the science, technology, engineering, mathematics skill set. But it was hard doing that. The reason why I figured out, like, if I'm a musician, how do I get kids from the inner city to go down a STEM skill set path if I'm only doing music? So I started a company called FYI.AI that builds agentic workflows. I've been working in AI since 2012. A professor by the name of Professor Patrick Winston, rest in peace, from MIT, when Black Eyed Peas would tour Boston, he would let me sit in this class. He was the head of AI at Boston. From 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, I was inspired by the field, with Ray Kurzweil leading the charge with the singularity in connection with the Media Lab. So that really got me inspired on the future of technology. If the computer is my instrument, what is the trajectory of compute? If you think about the computer, this whole time when you type on a computer, you're actually speaking sign language to the computer. This. The same way you talk to someone who cannot hear. In the 80s, 70s, the computer cannot hear, so you spoke sign language to it. The trajectory was eventually the computer will have a sensor to hear, and you'll speak to it in natural language. Now with our FYI.AI, we have an agent builder that allows you to compute just with natural language. And you configure the agent with your beliefs, your concerns, your understanding, your passion, your aspirational GPS is what we call it. And your data is your data. Up until this point, before the agent, personal agent, what did you use your data for? Your data fuels your personal AI agent. Companies, I call them data monarchies, never really educated us on the power of data. The world is unbalanced because communities that are rich in data don't have something to benefit with their data from. And we aim to change that with FYI.AI. And that's what really got the folks from our community excited to go down that path. Because they're like, Will, if you're doing that, we can do that too. Had I not done that, they would just see athletics and music as a path out of the ghetto, not tech. Because in tech, they rarely look like us. They rarely look like folks that are building LLMs, training models, making diffusion models. They don't look like us. I was lucky enough to go from music to be a part of Beats Electronics, to working closely with Apple, to have an investment from Selena Chow at Horizon Ventures that introduced me to Demis, and Adam and Dag that created Siri, Demis who created DeepMind, to be befriended by Silicon Valley, to have invested in Anthropic and OpenAI early on. So that type of work shows the folks from the community what's possible. What happened one random day in April of last year, I had a visit by a president of a university named President Michael Crow from Arizona State University. And he learned about our FYI.AI technology and wanted to collaborate and partner. So we created this partnership called edu.fyi, where students and professors build agents to transform how we learn. That catapulted me into like something I never thought I would be. And that's a professor at Arizona State University teaching a course that I created called the Agentic Self. The Agentic Self, we had our first unit this year from January to May. A cohort of almost 100 students. And because of that, other colleges in California, like the California community colleges, have partnered with us to take that Agentic Self course and the EduFi technology to transform communities utilizing the course and our vision. Unit 2 starts in the fall. The differentiation between Unit 2 and Unit 1 is this book of problems. We created a book of problems so that when students build their agent, they run at a problem instead of running from a problem. Because folks from these communities are sitting on a gold mine to turn those problems and put solutions at them to render them obsolete, and industries of tomorrow will come from that. So some of you guys are like, wow, that's pretty pie in the sky. Give me an example of that. And I point at the dawn of the automobile. Ever since someone had an idea like, hey, this car could take people from point A to point B, called a taxi or a cab, people of color, black and brown, had a hard time hailing a cab. You've seen it in movies and comedy sketches. Taxi. Taxis didn't stop for black people or brown people. People like Martin Luther King, who fought for civil rights, or Al Sharpton and Reggie Jackson, they marched and campaigned, and they did amazing work with civil rights. But there's this one stickler that stuck around. So mayors and governors and senators and councilmen and politicians and lobbyists, they couldn't fix it. And then Travis and Uber rendered it obsolete. And since Uber, you've never heard in a movie or a comedy sketch that cabs and taxis don't stop for people of color. You didn't even notice it. Now, how many other problems are sitting around favelas and slums and ghettos and townships that are ready to be solved? Utilizing tech, the Ubers of the world, the jobs that are gonna come. People from the inner city are sitting on a gold mine. And we saw that firsthand with what we did with Unit 1, EduFi, and what we're gonna do moving forward. That work that we're doing at ASU, as a professor at ASU, is like proof when we scale EduFi across not just California, but all across America. Not just America, but internationally. That brought me to being an ambassador for AI for Good with ITU, and why I'm here today. And I thank the ITU for seeing the work that we've been doing from I Am Angel in 2008 and sitting on the board of First Global, and acknowledging that to have us a part of the fold, to take this optimism and this vision of running out of problem and being audacious and having the audacity and ambition to compete. Because the cavalry never came in the past. We've been waiting for this moment. That's why, from the beginning, this is the greatest moment for us all. If you come from an inner city, if you come from these places, we are the people we've been waiting for, because the technology is here to enable us, to supercharge us. And it's really, last year I was supposed to be here, but I had to Zoom in, but I didn't want to miss this year. And being an ambassador for the ITU, to take both the work that I'm doing at First Global and ASU, is the next 20 years of my life. I'm 51 now, and have a whole double decade in front of me. I know what my last 20 years was like. I remember what it was like when I was 30. I remember what it was like writing Where's the Love. That song is why we have a career. Yes, Let's Get It Started is a great song. My Humps, if you like that one, is cool too. But Where is the Love is what it's all about. Asking yourself, why is the world configured the way it is? Why do people just fuck it up? Why can't we create a society the way musicians play in key, play in time, play in tune, and harmonize with one another. Music in its fundamentals is a pretty powerful, beautiful orchestration of how we make sense of noise. Now imagine if every politician, once again, was doing that. Co-opetition, harmonizing. And that is the mission moving forward with the ITU. I'm going to show this video of what we're going to do this October in Korea when we put our FYI technology onto the new XRP robotics kit, where students are able to build agents and personify the robot. Farina, can you press play on this?
Okay, back up and pick up the ball behind you.
Okay, I'll go pick up the ball.
Okay, now position yourself to hit the goal. Move back a little bit.
Okay, I'll move back.
Okay, now straighten out.
Now shoot the ball into the goal.
All right, I'll shoot the ball at the target.
All right, you missed. Now let's try one more time.
Go get the ball. All right, now position yourself to the left. Okay, now aim this time and lock your back brakes. Shoot the ball into the goal. Great job. So what went wrong the first time?
The first time, I got the ball and I shot, I didn't really aim properly and I didn't lock my back brakes.
Well, what went right the second time?
Well, when you told me to, I calibrated the distance, and by locking my back brakes, it allowed me to not have any compromise on the ball's trajectory to hit where my calibration was.
But you knew that the first time, right?
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't want to let you know I knew, because if I did that, you wouldn't learn. So thanks for your adjustments, because that's how we learn together.
So, like I said, this is the greatest time to be able to build a forever learning companion with your team that will embody every aspect of the robot. So that way, the alumni of that team will always have this agent that represents that robot with them for the rest of their educational path. And education is not 4-year, 8-year, 12-year. Education is forever. But the way that my grandmother learned is the way that I learned. Moving forward, learning is going to change. You're going to learn forever. You're going to be able to apply what you learned here. You're going to be able to take what you learned here and apply it over here, that it would have taken a pattern matching freaking wizard to figure out that this can apply to that. You go to school, you have all these books. When you go out into the world, you have to remember some passage of the book, and then if you're really good, pattern match it and say, hey, that applies to that. Up until this point, we didn't have that. Your phone that you have in your pocket is built to just suck your attention. It's not yours, actually. The operating system is not yours. The village AI is not yours. The AIs that you build moving forward, the agents that you build are your agent for your data. Think about the world right now. We all have apartments and homes with refrigerators and plumbing and computers and laptops. But the equipment in the house, the refrigerator for your food, there is no refrigerator for your agent and all your data yet. Think about in your pocket, your wallet, your credit card. There is still right now not a bank for your data company. Think about how incomplete the world actually is. And the kids that are a part of what we're doing with ITU and AI for Good and what we're doing with First Global, how they're going to imagine this world where it's a more harmonized world, a more human-centric world. We're entering an age of the human age. Because when you have machines that can out-logic, that can out-strategize, out-create songs at an instant, it takes me a day to make 2 songs. AIs can make 1,000 songs in hours. It'll take me a month to make a video. AI can make a video in minutes. One thing AI is not going to do is out-love, out-compassion, out-human heart us. And if we don't get on that path to solve problems that we started with utilizing agents, the last thing we want is an agent to solve our problems that we created. There's movies about that. The last thing we want is agents to solve the environment problems that we created, because they will see us as the problem. That's the last thing we want. So if I, as a musician, now philanthropist, entrepreneur, professor, can start with 65 students and now have 15,000 students with over 400 robotics teams, the action item is for you guys to go out here and compete. You can create robotics teams. You can go out and adopt a middle school or a high school and get these kids on path to go to colleges like Arizona State University, so that when they go out into the world, they're running at a problem head on. This is the most exciting time to be a student, to be hyper creative, to be purposeful. I'm 3 minutes under. Thank you guys so much. My name is will.i.am, ambassador of ITU, board member of First Global, and proud professor at Arizona State University. And let's get it started. Bye-bye.